Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I have filmed for you guys this highly requested makeup look that I had on Instagram. So I filmed like a little styling video on Instagram where I just did the lips on camera and everybody was going crazy for the whole entire look. So I made sure that I filmed the whole look for you guys. For me, this is like the ideal makeup look for any occasion. You guys, look at these lashes. How perfect are they? This is my current favorite style from my collection. It is the style Slade, and of course on the lips, actually you guys, you have to watch. So if you guys want to see what I use and how I achieve this look, then keep on watching. So for primer, I'm using the Huda Beauty Complexion Perfection. As usual, I always shake it, but it doesn't shake. I kind of like to move it around just because this is a little bit older, because I have a few of them, so I don't know which one's like a newer one and which one's older. I feel like this primer formula is like the perfect for my skin because I don't need it to be too pore filling, but I like that it's hydrating, so I am a huge fan of this formula. The other day I bought the Bobbi Brown Peach Corrector in light to medium peach, so I'm just going to take it on my finger and I'm going to dab that right where the main darkness is. Okay, I totally get the hype 1 second into using it. Wow, that's amazing. It's a super thin consistency, so it's not going to add like cake under your makeup, but it really does blur out your darkness. I'm going to wait to see how it goes with the makeup because obviously that's the way you're going to tell if it's good or not, but right now that is insane how it is brightening my dark circles. So for foundation, I'm using the NARS Sheer Glow. The shade that I use right now is Barcelona. I am tanned. I don't have any fake tan on. My tan now is a really natural tan because I have been in the sun a few times this summer. Before anyone tells me it's not summer, it is summer here in Australia. I get these comments all the time and I feel like people are just never going to get it that Australia, we have backwards seasons. So what seasons there are all around the world, we are in reverse. And if you didn't know, now you know, because I feel like no matter how many times I say it in my videos, people literally still comment saying like, oh my god, she's doing a summer haul in winter. So yeah, it's summer, guys. I guarantee you I'm going to read some comments after I upload this video and people are going to be like, I didn't know that. I feel so cool using my Jeffree Star mirror. So I'm going to blend that in, and this foundation is so easy to work with. You know how some foundations are so full coverage that they dry too quickly? This foundation is just perfect. I love NARS Sheer Glow because it's very like your skin but better, but you can keep building it up to make it super full coverage, and it dries down satin. It's not shiny and it's not matte. So if you bake and add powder, you can get it super matte and flawless. But if you want it to be dewy, you can kind of leave it and just add setting sprays and you can make it dewy. So it's probably the best foundation in the world in my opinion. But I also really love the Too Faced Born This Way as well. They're the two foundations I tend to go back to always. Ava's TV was just super loud. I don't know if you guys could have heard her nursery rhymes just then, but I went and turned it down. This is the reality of being a mom YouTuber. Ava's here pretty much all the time because she doesn't go to school yet, so there's always like noise in the background when I'm filming. It's pretty crazy, but we're actually going to start her in school soon. So once she does start, well, it's called daycare, but you know, people call it school. Once she starts, I'll be able to do a lot more vlogs because right now my life is so crazy that it's always go, and then filming is like the only chance I get to really like do my own thing. Even when I'm like editing, she's just always there. So for concealer, I'm using the Cover FX Power Play. I'm really shocked at how good the Bobbi Brown Corrector is because I literally don't have any dark circles. So I'm not going to need too much of this. And the shade that I'm using is N Medium 1. I used to have like 5 shades, but I don't know where they went. So this is the shade that I always use the most anyway. So it's all good. So I like to go down the sides of my nose and then just bring it in kind of like a triangle. Now this concealer is like a really thin consistency, but it is still full coverage. So if you use it, it literally kind of looks wet, but I mean they all look wet, but it kind of looks like a very watery consistency. But don't be alarmed because it dries down so nicely, and even though it's thin, it's still super nice and full coverage. So I'm going to blend out the concealer with my Juno & Co. I feel like this sponge just makes your makeup look the most airbrushed and full coverage. I think I've completely moved on from beauty blenders now, and I'm officially a velvet sponge girl. So for contour, I'm using the Huda Beauty in shade Light. So I like to contour my forehead, my cheekbones, it just works differently to like using a concealer or any product that's like not meant to be a contour, because that's what I did for so long. But there's something about the formula that just works. I feel like whenever I use a concealer, it doesn't look as flawless and it looks a bit blotchy, but I don't know guys, there's something about this that's just so good. I'm gonna blend out my nose contour with the sponge because I don't want it to look like too harsh, which it always does end up looking, but believe it or not, that's actually really not my intention. It just ends up happening. So before I bake, I'm just going to add a little bit of my banana bake powder. So I don't want to go in too crazy with this, just to kind of set the area, and then I'll set it properly with the translucent powder. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of this onto my eyelid. So this is what's going to set my eyelids for the eyeshadow. I'm going to use the Tarte, what is it called? The Tarte Shape Tape Setting Powder today. I'm just going to pop it right under. And then a little bit on the sides of my nose. So for the look, I did use my Laverna palette, but honestly, it's just a brown smoky eye, so any brown shadows you have will work. But I did get a lot of people that have purchased my palette saying that they haven't seen a lot of tutorials. I used to do a lot when it was available, and I kind of stopped when it sold out. So for this look, I basically use Makiage, Teddy Bear and Deja Vu. So I'm going in with Makiage, and I'm blending this pretty much on top of my crease because I go in with Deja Vu, which is the deeper chocolate shade, all over. I feel like I haven't really spoken about my palette that much because when it launched, I had given birth to Ava only a few months ago, so life was really crazy for me, and I honestly didn't even get to take it all in. Now that I look back, I just think it's so crazy that me myself created this cosmetic product, found my own lab, worked with my own lab, literally formulated this product that thousands of girls around the world now own and use. I didn't take it in at the time because it kind of just felt so surreal. So after the last restock, I decided that Laverna would be discontinued here. So some of the shades that you guys love and use the most will obviously be reborn into the next palette. Anyway, back to the makeup. So I'm gonna now go in with the shade Deja Vu here, and I'm going to pack that all over my lid. My finger literally just touched the shade Dare so lightly, and look at that pigment. So I'm just going in with a packing brush, and I'm just going to pack Dare all over my lid. So Dare is like a ready tone brown, so I didn't want the brown to be too dark and not wearable. So I wanted to do something that you could build up for nighttime or still wear during the day. So I'm going to do the other eye. So I use this shade here from the Huda Beauty Nude Medium palette, and they don't have names, but it's just the gold one here. Put it on my finger, and I literally just tapped it onto the lid area really lightly. I didn't go crazy with it, but I just tapped it onto pretty much like the third of it. So it's still a really nice dark smoky eye, but it just looks really pretty when the light hits it. So I'm gonna do the other eye. So for this look, I don't like a really dramatic wing. I just did a really subtle little wing liner. So I'm using the roller liner. I was gonna say roller lash by Benefit. Alright, liner's on, so now I'm gonna now I'm gonna wipe away the bake. I used to like really wipe hard, but now I'm like so gentle to the point where I'm actually pretty much leaving a thin layer on. I feel like people feel like they really need to get every little bit of powder off when they're wiping, and that's why you wipe too hard. But if it still does look a little bit powdery, you guys can see it still looks a bit white, don't worry, because setting spray will soak all of that up and marry your skin and your makeup together, and it won't look like that anymore. So that's a little tip from me for the day. And I'm gonna add mascara now. So as usual, going in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex. It's one of my favorites. So for lashes, I'm using My Lashes in Style Slade. So this is a really nice, I'll take it out of the packet actually. So this is what Slade looks like. Slade is a super fluffy 3D mink lash. So the lashes always come super long and you trim it to your eye shape. So I'll show you guys how I do that. So first I just chop off the inner corner because nobody wants the inner corner poked. And I usually start off with one whole notch. So you guys can see I chopped off one notch, and these are like super winged, so you really want to test them on your eyes to see how they look. So I'm going in with the Best Eyelash Adhesive. This is like some indie brand where they only sell it off their site, like there's no stockist for this glue, but it is really good. I didn't like it at first because I didn't know how to use it, but now I get it. So you literally have to go straight on. The second you pop it out of the tube, it's good to go, ready on your lash. So I used to let it sit like you would duo eyelash adhesive, but that is too long and then it loses its stick. So this look is going to be a smoked out lower lash line. I haven't done a smoky look in a minute, so I like to go in with a little bit fluffier of a brush first to diffuse it, and then I'll go in with like a pencil brush to define it. And I'm going in with Deja Vu. So on my waterline, I didn't add black, I added a brown. So I'm using the LA Girl Ultimate Intense Auto Stay Liner in deepest brown. I know this is pretty stupid, but before I wear it, I like to break off the top so it's super pigmented, just to avoid me going back and forth trying to get the pigment started. So now to bronze up my face, I'm going in with the Makiage Mineral Baked Sculpting Blaze and Glaze. My god, that's a long name. So I always just use that middle shade. It's the prettiest warm airbrushed bronzer ever. And then I like to go in with a flat top brush for my nose. This one is the Morphe M572. So I'm really trying to not go as crazy on my nose contour as I usually do. So I'm just going to really go on the parts that are uneven. So on this side the bump is a little more prominent. So I'm going to cancel out that bump. Ooh, this happens every time. And on the other side, it's more the bulbous part of my nose that sticks out more than the other side. So I'm going to stay away from the top because that kind of dips in. And I have a long nose, so I just like to kind of chop off the tip. So before I highlight, I'm just going to add a spritz of my Morphe setting spray. Gosh, this stuff is so good. If you guys have not tried the Morphe setting spray, oh my god, you're missing out big time. I don't even have a code, I don't get paid, but I have to tell you when something's good, and that is damn good. So you guys would have seen in last week's new video trying new makeup, I tried the Jouer highlighter in citrine and I really liked it, so I'm going to use it again today. So I'm just going to go as usual on the cheekbones. This one is a really blinding highlight, so you have to be careful in like on the forehead and the chin. The other day I also did a brow highlight and an inner corner highlight. Sometimes I leave it out, but I did it on this look. For blush, I'm using Kylie Cosmetics Baddie on the Block. Just gonna clean up my contour because it went a little crazy. So I know this is the moment you guys have all been waiting for, the lips. So the reason why this lip combo was so bomb is because I used my liquid lipstick in 1993, which is the best peachy nude you guys will ever wear in your entire life, I promise. So the lip liner that I used is the KKW Nude number 2. It's like a really deep nude brown. So first I go in pretty hard and outline my lips just to get the shape, and then I go in with about half the pressure and I'm going to feather it all in to ombre the liner into the center of my lips. So I'm just going to feather the lip liner in. So I'm pretty much going to leave it like that because I can always go over it after I add the liquid lip. So I add a little bit on with the applicator and then I just dab it out with my fingers. So I'm just going to dab it on. So I'm just going to wipe away this bag. And now this is the end result. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to achieve this look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.